We're going to review Charlie Houpert and Charisma on Command. If you know the Power Moves YouTube channel, chances are that you also know Charisma on Command. The two channels are not comparable in size, they have a slightly different approach, but there is certainly an overlap in the audience. Charisma on Command breaks down what makes celebrities successful. Charlie Houpert has analyzed hundreds of celebrities and done a great job. So I think it's only fair if we now reciprocate the favor and we do an analysis on what makes Charlie Houpert so charismatic. So let's see what makes Charlie Houpert and Charisma on Command so successful. Number 1, voice. There are many elements that make Charisma on Command successful, including the quality, the production quality, the catchy title and thumbnails. But if I had to pick one and just one trait, that would be Charlie Houpert narrating voice. Charlie's use of voice is a 10 out of 10, one whisker away from cum laude, and stick until the end and I will tell you what's a little bit missing. There are several elements that make Charlie Houpert voice so special. The first one is the purr. The purr is a very slight vibration in your voice. It's a little bit like a roar, but very, very subdued. It has a strong seductive quality to it. Listen to it.
But you couldn't open it. There's mystery. You're thinking about it and you tend to value it more. That's partially why digital...
The purr is also what makes George Clooney one of the most attractive men in Hollywood.
Blade, I was about to send out a search.
Hello, Tess. You said that I better know what I'm doing.
I'm with Terry now.
Does he make you laugh? Yeah, imagine the odds.
Marking up is the vocal equivalent of using titles, bold, bigger text and underlined text in the written format. Imagine you got a big wall of text in front of you and another one which is marked up. Which one do you think is most likely to entice you to keep on reading it? Well, the vocal equivalent of the wall of text is a monotone voice like this, and the marked up text is, of course, Charlie Houpert's voice. Listen to it.
Someone, and you feel like you are like them, you are in rapport, which takes us to the second point.
Variation is actually a catch-all. It includes the markup and the purr, we talked about it, plus it has speed, tone, melody and volume. When you put all of them together, and when you put all of them together at a very high quality, then you get Charlie Houpert. See an example.
If you ever feel like you're selling a product that you can't be enthusiastic about, improve that product or move on. There's almost zero space in between desire and the fulfillment of that desire.
The final result of all these elements put together is a voice that makes people keep on listening. This is important when speaking in person, but it's even more important on YouTube. YouTube algorithm indeed decides what videos to serve depending on several different signals. But the two most important of them are click rates and how long people listen and watch the video after they clicked on it. So Charlie's fantastic voice that makes people keep on listening, it's a true competitive advantage and one of the most fundamental ingredients of Charisma on Command success. Number 2 is marketing. Charisma on Command has one of the smartest, best executed, best optimized YouTube marketing strategy. Starting from the thumbnails, look at them. See how catchy they are and notice that they all follow the same standard. They all have a big face and a giant title next to it. That's because Charisma on Command find out that it worked and so they stuck to it. The next element is title. Look, to be honest, these titles are a little bit clickbaity, but clickbaity work if you want to get a lot of clicks. Imagine you got two results on our YouTube screen. You got one video that says how to connect with people and another one that says how to instantly connect with anyone easily with 5 simple steps. You know that there is a little bit of game going on with that second one, but still you're more likely to click on that one. The third point is monetization. You know the term plugging. Well, plugging refers to promoting your product, and there are two types of plugging, a bad one and a good one. The bad one, it feels like plugging, and the good one is woven in the video. It becomes part of the fabric of the video. It's very natural. Let's see two opposite examples. Let's see first the bad plugging.
You got to get straight in your head for sure. So look, that seems like our time. Let's get people over to pitchanything/V6. That is solid foundation for everything we talked about here. Promote it a little bit because before it becomes a paid course.
Yeah, no, it's and also I definitely highly recommend the book for anybody who's watching this. It's a great book. Like I said, I'm going to be reading it a second time. It's very entertaining as well. It doesn't matter if you're in sales or business, read it anyways because it's going to help you.
See there, the seller says promote it to the interviewer, and the interviewer almost on cue, he goes on promoting the book. He even says, I guess I'm gonna read it a second time, which sounds unnatural and almost comical. Now compare it to Charlie.
Now, I have to admit, as regarding spirituality, for many years I thought that it was completely useless, lacking in practicality, woo-woo nonsense. But I will say that there were two big things that really helped me get into it and find tremendous value in it. And they're both from Eckhart Tolle. It is A New Earth as well as The Power of Now. Now, both of them still have sentences that I read or hear and I am just, they make me cringe with the pseudoscience. But there are deep nuggets of wisdom in both of those. So if you haven't gotten much value out of spirituality and you're listening to Russell, you think there might be something there, I highly recommend Eckhart Tolle as a bridge. And you can check out either of those titles for free, courtesy of this video's sponsor, Audible. When you join using the link...
Big difference, right? With Charlie, it doesn't even feel like he's selling it. He even says he makes me cringe with the pseudoscience, which makes him come across as far more trustworthy. So when he says something positive, you truly believe him. Which leads us to the next point, Machiavellianism. The word Machiavellian has come with a very negative connotation these days. However, I use it in the higher form, in the sense of Machiavellian skills and thinking. And I think that Machiavellian thinking and skills are crucial to one person's success. I will give you an example, a video, and then you try to guess if you see what's the Machiavellian move in there.
That this isn't the moral move. But in researching past elections, I can't deny that it has worked. Bush won. If Trump does this, or anyone in your life mischaracterizes your criticism...
So did you catch what it was? It's when he says, researching past elections. Based on the video that follows, the research was based on one single instance, not many, and it's based on correlation. Correlation does not imply causation. So based on the video that he showed, one, it was weak evidence, and two, he cannot really say it worked. But when you say it with confidence, most people will miss the inconsistency and it will increase your authority by 10x. Now, please allow me to say that this is not a critique on Charlie Houpert or on Charisma on Command, quite the opposite. Science is important, of course, but it's only one of the 3 pillars of knowledge. And when it comes to social skills and social strategy, it's not the most important one. As a matter of fact, a man with high social intelligence will always, almost always, out-strategize a social researcher with low social intelligence. And Charlie Houpert and Ben Altman, they both have very high social intelligence. So it's all good there. Let's say that this was a Machiavellian power move without a real victim. The celebrities funnel. Think about what analyzing celebrities does for Charisma on Command reach. Imagine, for example, somebody likes Games of Thrones or Oprah Winfrey. Now, this person might never end up on Charisma on Command because probably he does not search for things like how to be charismatic, how to beat shyness, 5 simple steps to be the most commanding person in the room, etc., etc. But they will search and view a lot of Game of Thrones videos and a lot of Oprah Winfrey videos. So when Charlie Houpert makes a video about Game of Thrones or what makes Oprah Winfrey so awesome, Charlie Houpert's capture all of those Oprah fans that would never otherwise end up on his channel. It's not by chance that the biggest video on this channel by far is the video which exactly follow this same formula. Multiply that by hundreds of celebrities breakdown and you get a huge uplift that any other channel which only focuses on charisma and social skills will never manage to pull. The politician approach. There can be an advantage in polarizing audiences. However, if your content is apolitical in nature, then strong political stance or being very opinionated risks to piss off a lot of people, and those people will turn in dislikes and in missed subscribers. Charlie Houpert is extremely careful in avoiding anything that can piss off his audience. See here an example.
So don't worry, no matter who you support, there will be something to love and hate in this video.
As long as you want to increase your reach as far as possible, it's a very smart strategy. The biggest secret of Charisma on Command success is the same reason of why the Power Moves website is successful, and it's because of the quality. It's not just the quality of the content. The secret sauce of Charisma rests on 3 levels of quality. 1 is the quality of the analysis, 2 is the quality of production, and 3 is the quality of the entertainment. Put the 3 together and you get the explosive mix that is Charisma on Command. Now the things they could do better. One of them is power. Charlie is a cool and friendly guy. Overall, I think that his friendliness and likability are a great plus, both for Charlie and for Charisma on Command, the business. People, the viewers, they like Charlie and they hit the subscribe and like button in droves. For social success outside of YouTube, likability is still important. On the Power Moves, I recommend being likable. And I recommend likability with what I call the warmth power matrix, and that means being high on both warmth and power. Why do you need both? You need both because one of the issues with friendliness is that friendly signals overlap with submissive signals. They are similar, which means that when you are too friendly, if you're not equally high power, then you can come across as submissive and very low power. Charlie is not low power, quite the opposite. However, sometimes I feel that he overdoes the friendliness so much that it outstrips the power level, so it ends up being a little bit more on the too nice guy side. Particularly, this is the case with smiling, and particularly so in all those cases where a smile was not called for or unwarranted. Let's see an example.
Craig, at the beginning of every show, would rip up the pre-interview questions and basically ad-lib. And his confidence to trust in his own ability to can save yourself from making horrible health and business decisions. So when they're talking to someone, and I've been the one interrupting with a completely off-topic comment, they don't flinch. And I stand here and this is a tough question to ask on camera, but where do your kids fit into your life in terms of like best thing I ever did or like nice to have? You know?
We're also not live, so if you want to answer off the record, I'd love to know it. But
contrast to Belfort high power response, he's basically saying there is no need to hide behind smiling or off cameras.
Unless you're on the record. No, I don't know. Okay, kids, best thing in the world that ever happened is my children.
The search of friendliness and likability can also make you too agreeable and not assertive enough, which leads us to the next point: increase disagreeableness. On the podcast, sometimes I feel like both Charlie and Ben are trying to be too agreeable. See here an example.
I think sometimes it sounds like we're being interpreted as disagreeing with what you're saying about females. And what I'm saying is that perhaps it's not about females. So like personally, but it seems like to posit that that's unique to women is where I have the disagreement, I guess.
You don't need to cushion it too much. If you disagree, just say it. Don't be afraid. I disagree. Say it. Don't dance around. Don't tiptoe. There is nothing wrong with disagreeing. Say it. I think some people try a lot to avoid disagreements because they think that if you disagree with somebody, then you're being unfriendly or overly aggressive. That can be the case if one doesn't know how to disagree. However, there are very good techniques and mindsets that allow you to both disagree while also keeping a friendly and collaborative frame. For the techniques, check Power University. How was that for a plug, by the way? And for the mindsets, which are even more important, I like what William Ury says. Be tough on ideas and be kind on people. You can do both. You can even tell somebody, I totally disagree. My personal experience, my observation tell me otherwise. Then let them prove you wrong. If they can, great. If they cannot, move on like friends as before.
if abortion didn't exist, it is removing hypergamous control away from women, and it's putting it at least in the hands of society, if not other men or whatever.
These two disagree at a fundamental level, and Ben keeps seeking for impossible bridges.
And I think I've seen that throughout our conversation. So if we can,
and I understand what you're saying,
because I feel like we'll say, aren't men like that too? And then you'll say, here's why women are like that. And it's like, well, we don't necessarily disagree with that part, actually. So I think
seeking bridges, on average, it's great. It's an important life skill to learn and to develop. Yet even here, there is such a thing as overbridging. If you fundamentally disagree with somebody, but you still keep searching for the impossible bridge, that does not make you friendly. That makes you unassertive, low on power, and potentially, at times, even sneaky. So when there are no bridges, call in the search, agree to disagree, and move on. The other issue with stuffing down disagreement is that it's the same dynamics of stuffing down anger, and it comes out as passive aggression. In this example, Charlie Houpert is a little bit passive aggressive. Take a look.
Searching for a mate.
So again, this does not track at all with any of my life experience.
Charlie fundamentally disagreed, but instead of taking the disagreement to Rollo Tomassi, to his guest, and instead of doing so directly, he smiles about him and then he looks towards Ben. For those of you who have been through Power University, you know what it means. When you're disagreeing with somebody or when you're talking to somebody and things are not going too well, when you look at somebody who is a friend of yours, it's a way of connecting with them as if to say, back me up here, help me out. And that's fundamentally low on power. It's low on power, and in this case, it was also not very respectful. One, because Charlie was laughing about Rollo Tomassi, and two, because looking at your friend is a way of saying, it's two of us, we agree, and you are alone. And in the end, no matter how much you disagree with your guest, they still deserve your respect. As a matter of fact, they deserve your respect, especially when you disagree with them, because that helps to keep your bond, your connection, and your rapport while you disagree. We go back to the fundamental here. Be tough on idea and opinions, but be kind and warm to people. And by the way, by no means this is to say that it's an easy mindset to internalize, and by no means this is an easy mindset to actualize it with behavior, but it's a worthy goal to pursue. These two guys are great. They look like the type of guys that you would like to have as friends, that you would like to grab a beer with, that you would like to grab some food with, to talk with, and to have as business partner in case you have a business, and if you're a woman, the type of guys that you might want to have as boyfriend or husbands. One thing I like about them is that on top of being good at what they do, they also seem to be two stand-up guys who ground their work and their lives on solid ethical and moral foundations, and that's something I respect. So thumbs up for them here. Number of followers and visits, in my opinion, are not always and necessarily a strong indicator of quality, but in the case of charisma on command, they are. These guys do great work. If you want to learn about charisma, that's a great place to learn. I learned a lot from them, and I'm convinced that I will keep on learning more. On the other hand, if you're interested in power and climbing social hierarchies, Power University might be something for you to consider. This is the latest email feedback I received. Even more than email, though, I like to point people towards public feedback. This is one of them, where John Freeman also talks about what he thinks can be improved. If this video was helpful to you in any way, click like and subscribe. And from my side, very good to see you guys. Big hug. See you soon. Arrivederci. Ciao, ciao.